Good afternoon. Paul DeLuca here with the Growth Game Podcast. I'm your host from Meritus Capital. We appreciate that we're in the afternoon. We're coming from the staffing world in Orlando, and we are back at it. Hour by hour, we're doing our live podcasts, and we're having a lot of fun. So we have our guest, Val Peer from Nixer. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Paul. I'm glad to be here.
I love it. So fly. Well, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, what you're going to find out is that my audience really is talking about and trying to understand different little tidbits of things that they can use to pattern match in their business to grow.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. But of course, as a vendor to the staffing community, you've got all kinds of interesting things to be able to talk about.
Right.
Being able to provide comp insurance and be able to have other solutions. And But before we talk about that, because we're all about the human element, tell me a little bit something about yourself.
So my name is Valerie Peer, or Val Peer. So if you know me, I'm Val. And I've been with Nixer Comp since inception.
Okay.
I have been in the financial services industry, started out after my graduate degree with Allstate and with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Omaha, Nebraska. So I have a wide variety of experience in the insurance industry.
Got it.
I've worked with PEOs and temp staffing, and I specialize in pay-as-you-go captive models.
Interesting. And that really has been your specialty all these years.
All my years, yeah.
So how long have you been doing the Nixer Comp business?
5.5. So we started in April 2020.
Okay.
And I've been with them since the beginning.
Nice. Okay. Very, very cool. Well, we'll get into a little bit about the model. I want to understand what that's like.
Yeah.
But talk to me about staffing. Like, why staffing?
So staffing is really about people, and it's the people business. And I love people, and we all do. And so what we found is that traditional work comp insurance never really worked for staffing. You couldn't match the claims. They didn't understand the different host employers and the client relationships. And claims were a mess, classifications are a mess.
Sure.
So both of those things increase the overall cost and expense to the staffing company.
Right.
And so what we've done is we've honed that. We've gone through, come up with different ways to mitigate all of those different pain points to help our staffing companies grow. And for us, it is all about growth. We're here to create those win-win-win situations. So we want the staffing company to win.
Yeah.
We want our industry partners to win.
Sure.
And we want to win, and we want the industry to win.
Yeah.
So it's all about having the complete win scenario.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you're providing a needed thing for the staffing agencies, workers' comp. But how do you specifically help them grow as opposed to them just having a typical PEO relationship or their own insurance? What are you doing to enable growth?
So what we do is we go through, and with all the different data that we have, we can actually help our insureds come up with models to model out the cost per placement that they have.
Okay.
So that they can make sure their margins are online.
Okay.
If they're not, if they're not, we can help them understand that. We can put them in touch with different industry partners that can actually help them grow that even more and have a better understanding. We go through, because we write everything from guaranteed costs up to a high deductible of $100,000.
Got it. Wow. How are you able to do that?
So what we do is we go through, and by matching the claims and understanding what is the best mix for our client insureds and their potential client insureds, we can give them a deductible, which is going to help them keep that cash flow, because cash flow is king for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so when they're, because the claims, they don't pay out anything on those deductibles until that claim is being paid.
Nice. It's not like you're grabbing it right away.
Not right away.
To juice up your own deposits.
That's exactly right. So guaranteed cost, that's exactly what's happening.
Correct.
They're juicing up those deposits, and you're having to pay that every single month.
Right.
And then
Huge cash flow drain. I've seen
flow
it.
drain, huge.
But I didn't know that, and that's so interesting. You're actually enabling clients to kind of share in their own risk without them actually moving to a complete, captive model or whatever.
Well, we are. So we do offer guarantee cost. That deductible gives people a taste of what it would be to be self-insured.
Sure.
But we also have the capability through our captive in Cayman Islands to offer large clients the ability to have their own captive cell.
Got it. So you actually have a multi-cell captive. I don't claim to know insurance. I'm a finance guy.
Yeah.
But do I understand that correctly?
That's right.
So your capital base is a multi-cell. So you're able to really take somebody from a smaller, hey, I'm not even sure if I want to tiptoe into taking some risk, all the way up to then here's more risk, and then actually moving into something else. But all the while, you're providing a whole bunch of extra value.
Well, right. So we would still manage the claims through our
Do you have in-house, or do you?
No, we do it through our TPA, which is CCMSI.
Okay.
But
You don't own that TPA?
we do not.
Okay.
And we do not revenue share with them. So every dollar,
Conflict of interest.
it is a real.
People do that, and I don't like it.
So what we do is every dollar that we save, and when we do the medical panel reviews or the medical cost reviews, go, except for that small piece that's paid to them, goes right to our client insurance, goes right back onto those claims. So truly, we're in there to help them keep their costs down.
I like it.
Keep their costs down, keep their mod down. That keeps their overall costs down, which in turn bumps up their EBITDA. And that's what we're all about.
Interesting. So what's a perfect client for you? Kind of like what's right down the middle? What's the right size? What's the right mix? Really curious, if you said, wow, that's the perfect, right in the middle prospect, what would that look like for you?
So we do a lot of skilled trades, light industrial.
So you're taking risks.
We take risks. And I mean, we write everything except oil and gas, manufacturing.
No over the water.
No over the water, no USL&H, and we don't do asbestos.
Got it.
So basically, it's on the table. If you do it well and you know that's that line of business,
Interesting.
we're open to taking that risk with you.
Got it. And you're in all of the states?
All states.
All states except, of course, for the ones that are mandatory by the state. Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. And you've only been doing this 5.5 years? That sounds like you've got some scale.
Yeah, we do. We've really scaled it up, and we have that ability because of the way we manage it to grow exponentially without having to grow our internal staff.
Okay.
And but it's what's really great is these partnerships that we have and bringing that together.
We love the partnership.
We do too.
I mean, that's really what it's coming down to is we all have to be able to add significant value to each other to be able to be more interesting to the clients, but also to give them value that enables them to grow. So
Right.
I agree. I love it. And I love some of the fun things we're going to be able to do together. But so very interesting model. I really love this. So what would be kind of the smallest and then the largest? Well, like you said, you could do pretty large, but is there a smallest and a largest, or does your capital base kind of enable you to look at a pretty wide range?
We can do a pretty wide range.
Okay.
What we don't like to do is anything under, I would say, 3 million in payroll a year.
Okay.
I mean, because you got to think about it.
Small.
That's pretty small.
Yeah.
That's pretty small. And my biggest client right now has 300 million.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we do them well, and
Wow.
we could handle, $1 billion. They could be doing $1 billion.
So you have a real significant capital base. So you tied into some real significant equity that's enabling you to have a really good captive. Of course, you've been doing this a long time, so you also know how to play all the right tricks.
Well, so there is a lot of secret sauce, and if you know the regulations, then you know the regulations.
how to get it
I
done.
mean, I can get it done.
I love it.
And
That's super exciting.
If I can't get it done, I figure it out.
Yeah, but you're not writing PEOs. Like you're really only writing direct staffing agencies,
We're
or
only write 10 staffing. Now, we do write ER.
Yeah.
And Andy Kohler,
Yeah.
who is with Marsh.
Yeah.
He is our EOR expert. We've been working with him. So we were really hesitant about doing that. And Andy sat down and he said, what would it take to write EORs?
Right.
And we started.
I love Andy. He was a guest former guest on the Growth Game podcast, super sharp. I love that. So he got convinced you to do it.
Well, he sat down, he goes, what's it going to take? And so we sat down and worked through what it would take. Then he brought 2 clients to us, and they have been doing phenomenal.
That's great. I love that. I think that's a really great model. I finance a couple of EORs as well, and obviously a bunch of staffing agencies. So I agree with that. I think it can be done right. Super interesting.
So I had a meeting this morning with one of our EORs, a really great lady out of California, and she was like, so the way we do everything, we roll everything up. She can tell by her payroll which of the staffing firms inside of her EOR model. And we marry their losses. So she can see what their loss ratio is, or that each staffing firm.
Nice.
So she can track it. She can have those conversations.
Right.
And really manage her business.
Men are helping her do that.
Yes.
Got it.
So her success is our success.
Yeah.
And she's someone I can see in 5 years.
Yeah.
Having her own, what we call a PIC underneath our captive.
Okay.
And it's
I don't know what that is.
It's a private insurance company. She has her own board.
Got it.
But we still do all the TPA. We still do all the underwriting for her. So everything is seamless. She doesn't even know she's left our program.
That's amazing.
But she owns the risk.
Yeah.
And she gets all of those benefits from having a great loss ratio.
That's a really interesting business model. Basically, what you're trying to say is, listen, I'm going to take these cradle to grave. I don't want to.
That's right.
I don't want to just take it now and then all of a sudden they go off and do their own self-insurance somewhere. You really want to stay. You want to train them to do the risk right and stick with it long term. I think that's really a brilliant model. I like it.
Yeah, and so our thing is that we're looking. This is a relationship, and we're looking for those long-term relationships and having. When we come here, it's like seeing family. It's like a family reunion.
It really is. I love it. It's really one of the joys of being in this business. It's such a human business. It's still, lots of great human connection, and we help each other. I love it. Well, so you see a lot of staffing agencies. You write many of them. My guests are, many of them are staffing agencies looking for what do I need to do to continue to evolve and grow? Is there a couple of things that you're seeing your clients successfully do to continue to grow in this environment that's working that my audience would love to hear about?
So one way to continue to grow and to grow profitably, right, is that you want to get those claims in as soon as possible. If you are injured worker and you want someone to reach out to you immediately, you want to make sure that you're taken care of, you want to make sure that you don't have to worry, you're not sitting there wondering when someone's going to call you, right? And so that being that proactive and making sure that everyone is taken care of is so important. I had a friend that was a director of a company, so he's actually quite high up in his company. He was walking on a dock. Fell. Broke both of his elbows.
Oh, no.
At work. And he was immediately, they took him to the emergency room and he got taken care of. No. 3 days later, he still hadn't heard back. They casted him up, temporary cast, and still hadn't heard back about when he was going to have the orthopedic visit. He was ready. He's calling me. He's ready to file a lawsuit against a company that he knows the owners personally because no one is taking care of him. And he's afraid that this is going to start healing.
It makes sense.
And so I was like, this is what you need to do. You need to reach out to your HR. You need to let them know that you haven't heard anything and that when what your concerns are. He did that. They got him taken care of immediately. But that's the thing. You've got to be interactive. You've got to show that concern. When someone's hurt, they got to know, they got to feel the love.
Yeah, I agree. And that's going to help with retention, which is going to help with making sure that you've got the right staff to go out to the clients, all of those things.
And it keeps down the litigation and it keeps down the claim costs. And so that's going to help on the expense side. And then the retention is, helping on the revenue side, right? So, and then the sooner they can get back to work, the sooner you can have more people, more revenue coming in.
Yeah.
So that's what you want.
Super exciting. Well, so do you see yourself being in this business for a long time then and continuing to grow?
Absolutely.
Love it. I love it.
I'm here for the long haul.
I love it. Same. I am as well. Well, that's great. Well, I'm curious, is there anything at the show that you've seen so far, have you heard that you were like, wow, that's a new thought, that challenged my idea? Anything that struck you differently, or are you seeing anything differently? Or
I love going around and talking to the different industry partners and learning about what they do.
exactly.
And I came across an industry partner that's new.
Okay.
The new company just started this year.
Yeah.
And their thing is taking from the initial starting of that application to all the credentialing all the way through.
Yeah.
In one step, like 10 minutes. And so their live time, as the person's putting information in, it's going out and validating and verifying those credentials. So think about it. So potentially in 10 minutes, you could have a person ready to be sent out to your host employer.
Things, credential, like in healthcare.
Exactly. That's what it's built for.
Getting it out. Well, that's super interesting.
Yeah, I have to introduce you to him.
Faster. You got to be able to add. You have to become, these recruiters have to become more productive.
Right.
I think the thing for me that I'm really seeing is that AI is really, it's not just talk anymore.
Right.
Seems like everybody's realizing we have to have humans enabled by AI, which means we have to do things more productive, right? And it's going to be absolutely a requirement.
So what I see and what I did, because I just knew bits and pieces about AI. And you hear about these AI challenges. You're like, take the 28-day AI challenge.
Sure.
I actually did that.
Did you?
I learned so much.
Really?
And it was really worth it. I mean, I spent $30. I know it sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
No, but I learned about 28 different AI tools.
Amazing.
And
you implemented some of
yes,
this in your
absolutely.
Wow.
And I've got one that's called DeepSeek that actually creates dashboards, and you give it you train it what you want to know about that data, and then you say, what else, based on what I've asked you, what else can you give me? What other insights can you
real data analysis?
Yes.
Wow.
So the things you wouldn't think to ask, but by sharing with the AI tool what it could be at, what you want to know, and then say, based on what I want to know, what other insights can you get from this data?
Very interesting.
It's very powerful.
Wow, that's super interesting. Well, that's great. Well, I hope we're able to be partners for many, many years to come.
I'm sure we will.
Thank you so much for coming on the Growth Game. I really appreciate it, Val.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, that's a wrap for the Growth Game podcast live from Orlando. Until next time, audience,